Welcome to part 4 of the tutorial series on how to create maps for UT2004. Last time we covered the basics of lighting, and we also slightly teased about sunlights and skyboxes at the end, and that's what we'll be covering today. So, as you know so far, we have been creating maps that are indoor, which is fine, but let's be real, everyone wants to create an outside map once. So, let's start out by creating a box. Let's actually increase it a bit, oh, 'cause otherwise it's not that big of an area. Let's carve it out. Let's give it a simple texture. You can use any texture you want. I have some right here. You can grab these textures from, there is like a website that has them. If you go to this website, I will link it in the description. You can generate these um, dev textures, and what I use is just the UE4 default and then change it to whatever you want. You can also use Valve or utility and stuff like that, but yeah, you can generate some placeholder textures here. It's really nice, really neat. You can change the colors and everything. So that's what I use from my tutorials. Yeah, so I gave it a texture. I'm even gonna bother like aligning it to a box. So add a player start because otherwise we will not be able to. Let's light, add a player start, and add a zone info because, well, this is a zone. So zone info, boom, there you go. Save the map, dm skybox dot, there you go. Dot. Okay, cool. You got a basic room, but yeah, this is basically what you've been learning from the first tutorial already, so there's nothing really new here to learn. So what we're actually gonna do now is we don't have any lighting in here. So if I build the map, it's pitch black. And we will not be adding a normal light that we discussed last time. What we'll add instead is if you go to your actor browser, you go to light, you go to sunlight. As the name implies, it's the sun. So, and you will see already one surface is already being lit because the sunlight is directional, just as it is in real life. Let's quickly turn that off. There you go. And you can move it just like the spotlight. You can hold shift and then move your mouse left to right. You can control the angle. Let's put it all the way in the back, like so, and then make sure it points at like an angle or something. Doesn't really matter where the sun actor is anyway. It doesn't really matter. It's just the direction that is the most important. So let's make it at an angle, and then render the map. But like, yeah, it's still black. That's because the sun needs a skybox for it to actually work. So what is a skybox, you mean? Oh, you're probably asking. A skybox is basically, as the name implies, it's a box with sky. So what you want to do is create a new box somewhere that's not um, visible by a player. So you don't want to be doing this. It No, you wouldn't. I would say like maybe you can, but just to be safe, put it below your map or like far enough away so it's not like, in direct eyesight. Players won't see this anyway, but it's just nice that it's out of sight anyway. So place it like around your like below your level and like to the side so it doesn't conflict with anything else inside. So let's put it there for now. And also here it's dark, which makes sense because there's no light in here. What you can do is, yeah, you can put a light in here obviously and then work from there. Let's quickly change these textures around. So I'll go with an orange and then um, go there. And there we go. We have a simple box. You can also set these to unlit if you want, but for now, we'll just use a light. It's fine. And what you want to do instead of a zone info, you want to add a skybox info. As the name implies, this means that this zone is marked as a sky zone, as a skybox basically. Info, sky zone info, and you place it in your level. And the placement does matter. So if you put it like this, then you'll need to see it that it projects. It's like basically a pair of eyes. It looks around itself, and everything it sees will be like visible in the skybox. So if you put it at the bottom, you will notice that. Yeah, I will show you. So put it anywhere in the box. I'll be putting it right at the bottom, and then go back into the black box, and then hit build all, and it still doesn't work because the walls of your box need to be marked as a fake backdrop. So right click on all the walls. Don't do the floor because otherwise, yeah, you can do the floor if you want to really mess with people, but just do the walls and the ceiling. Go to server properties and then do fake backdrop and then hit the compile button again. You will notice the walls have turned full bright because they're unlit basically, which makes sense because when we hit the right click on this bar, or you press K as well on the keyboard, you can view the skybox and you will see the cube that we just made is actually the skybox now. Like the illusion is there and you can't see the room. Yeah, the room is right there basically. You can see it popping in and out of existence. But yeah, just in case, just put it, like I said, put it down and it's nicer for, it's a bit more, yeah, it's just nicer. Like, yeah. So yeah, that's basically how we do it. And you will notice, like I said, the actor position, so the sky zone position really matters because as you can see, you can basically make it like flat with the floor. And it looks like you're in like a really big cube while you're technically still in this little box. So what we'll do instead is move the skybox like to the middle so you actually have some depth as well. But yeah, experiment with that. Save the map, compile it again, and then actually go in game. And you will notice the same effect is also visible here. But you can't shoot through it. Like it's just an illusion, so you can't go there basically. So yeah, and ideally what you want to do obviously is put some meshes. Oh, that's a different one. So let's go to Arbora landscape and grab this. I think it was like a rock or something. Little rock. There we go. Place. Oh, it's a sky zone. Scale it down a little bit. And then move it into place. And you will also notice when we compile everything, there's actually a shadow now. So we're actually generating shadows now because of the sun. So if we change the sun, you also notice the shadow is different because well, the rotation of the sun just changed. So that way you can influence the way the sun works, and it behaves just like a really big light, and it doesn't have anything different than a normal light would. So you can change the hue and everything else. So you can make a sun that's basically like pink. So if you wanted to create a pink sun, so you get like a pink mood, be my guest. I guess we'll keep it for now. So if you go back into the game, you'll see that also is pink. See? So the area itself is pink. So the playable area where the sun is casting its shadows and lighting is pink. But the skybox doesn't get affected because it's technically its own zone. So yeah, and yeah, that's basically how you create a skybox and do or use lighting with the sun as well. A sunlight needs a skybox to work, as we've seen in the first in the beginning of the tutorial. Uh, when we added a sun, nothing happened because well, you need to set um, the walls, and this is annoying. When you click on in the live view, you can actually select things in the skybox. So you press K again, or you go back to view and then show backdrop. You set that off, and then you can start selecting these again. So for example, if I would say this one, I want to not be a skybox, or part of the skybox, I can just set the fake backdrop flag to 0 or off, and you will see it actually gets affected by the lighting again. And if we hit K, you see that wall is no longer part of the skybox. Now, yeah, no longer part of the skybox is probably not the right thing or the right wording, but it will no longer allow you to see the skybox basically. So if you have parts of the map that you don't want a skybox to be visible in, then you can mark a wall as not a fake backdrop anymore. So that's how that works. So this is a this is a skybox that's static, so it doesn't move. But you also have, and you might have known that from the Phase Classic in this game at least, or Phasing Worlds from the original Unreal Tournament, and that skybox actually moves. Well, you can also make it move here, but you will need a different sky zone actor. So we'll replace this sky zone info with a rocketing sky zone info, and you can find that one under info, zone info, sky zone info, and then rocking sky zone info, and then place it in the cube that we just made, paste it in the skybox, and then hit compile again, and it's still the same, so there's nothing different here. The only thing that's different from a regular sky zone info is the movement tab. And what you can do here, this can be done for everything by the way, so you can also make this rock rotate with these settings. But for now, we'll make this box. So we'll make the actor itself. I'll probably say it like this. We'll make the pair of eyes that is the sky zone info, rocking sky, rotate. The actual physical geometry will not move, but the actor itself will just go in loops or up and down and stuff like that. So what you want to do to make a movable skybox that actually like rotates, go into the properties, go into movement, and then set fixed rotation direction true. And then you want to set the desired rotation. So we'll do pitch like 1000. Set the physics to rotating. Then rotation is not needed because it's actually starting rotation, and the rotation rate should be 1000 or 10,000 maybe even. And there we go. Save it, but you will notice it doesn't do anything here. But you need actually for it to actually like work, you need to actually like load the map up. So we'll do that now. And you will see, it's actually pretty trippy, I would say, that the pair of eyes that is actually like controlling the skybox or looking around the skybox box is rotating now, and it creates this really trippy effect, especially when you move. This is especially if you look up. Oh god. But yeah, like this way you can create like space basically, just how Phase Classic did it, or Phasing Worlds in the original game, and probably some other maps out there that made by the community. So that way you can create a rotating skybox. So yeah, that's how you go about that. Um, yeah, other things. Yes, you can also add meshes into your skybox. So it's not limited to just a box. You can also have meshes and geometry in here as well, or fog or anything else, but we will cover fog when we'll talk about zoning, which will be the next tutorial, because everything is basically visible from anywhere right now. Yeah, so for example, if I want to add um, a really big barrel, because why not, in here, and then put it like up here. Like ideally, obviously, you want like a sky dome, which is basically like a dome with like a sky texture on it, and maybe rotate that around, or like slowly rotate to give the perception of it actually like clouds moving and everything else. And ideally, you want like a sun or something in here, but for now, we don't do that. Compile, save, and let's see. We now should have a ginormous barrel in our skybox. And there it is. And I totally forgot that the sky is still rotating. But yeah, there is the box. Oh no, the barrel, sorry. But once again, you can't hit it. So the only way to hit it is to hit the tilde key. You bring up the command prompt and you say, type no clip. No clip, no, sorry, ghost. Because for some reason it's called ghost. And then we'll be able to teleport into the room. The skybox room. And then we can hit it, but if we're outside, then we can't. So let's try to find our way back. There it is. So it's really ominous, like it's just that floating platform basically. And if we go back in, then everything is fine. And you can start walking again by just typing walk in the console. So yeah, that's really what skyboxes are about. It's not that complex. Um, like the setup is pretty straightforward, I would say. Yeah, the rocking sky zone info can be used in many different ways, as you just seen. Yeah, I would suggest you like practice around with it, like fiddle around with the rotation, with no, not with the rotation, but rotation rate and the desired rotation. Like see see what you can find, see what you want. Um, like I said, you can also make um, actors slash static meshes move with the same thing. So if you set this rock to fixed rotation directory 1000 and then physics to rotating because you want this one set to rotating because otherwise the physics engine will bug out. Don't think it's technically needed for this one, but some sky zones info have it, so I suggest you do that as well when you're doing a rocking skybox, that is. And let's set the rotation rate to something really dumb, just like that. And we'll probably have a Beyblade static mesh in our level. No, it's not. Why is it not? Ah, okay, I know why. It's because it's part of the name, static mesh. So by default, it's static. Um, movable, yes. It should be somewhere. Where are you again? It should be somewhere. Status, movable. Unlit. No, this is all display. It should be here technically, but hmm. Yeah, rotation rate, yeah, maybe it's too high. I don't know. But don't think that should really be an issue. Hmm. Let's quickly try again, otherwise I'll have a look at that in the future, I guess. Yeah, no. What would But again, there was something that makes sure it doesn't move. Movable. Uh, let's go C. You can also do it with a mover, yeah. That's not. That's something for different. But like, yeah, you can use the movement tab to control the movement for other actors as well. It's just not like limited to the rocking sky zone info. So that is what I was trying to get at. That tab is not exclusive to uh, that skybox rocking skybox info. So all right. Yeah, that will do it for this tutorial. So you now know how to create a skybox and how to create a rotating skybox using the rocking sky zone info. Like I said, practice around with it, create something cool. Yeah. So in the next part, we will be talking about zoning. And zoning is, well, as the name implies, zoning of your level. So far in this tutorial series, we have been placing these zone infos everywhere. And in the next tutorial, I will actually show you why that is the case and what it's used for and what it can be used for. So, hope to see you then.